I remember in the early internet days, in the 2000s, I would watch a new episode of a show called Lost. For the kids out there, remember how J.J. Abrams said he probably should have planned the Star Wars sequels out better? Well, everyone who watched Lost knew there was no chance J.J. was ever going to do that. This Lost was a show about a mystery island. Anyway, a new episode would come out, a new mystery would be introduced, a smoke monster, or a polar bear, or a hatch. Listen, it is not as dumb as it sounds. I mean, whatever. And I would run up to my room and go onto my computer and go to the official Lost message board, where I assume thousands of other Lost fans would share their theories. People were talking about everything, from Enlightenment philosophers to Green Lantern villains. It was wonderful. Everyone from all walks of life pooling their information to solve a mystery. It is fun to experience a piece of media as a group. It brings people together. It's one reason I love that shows like The Boys and The Mandalorian have brought back the weekly TV releases as opposed to the model pioneered by Netflix of dropping the entire season at once. I mean, I tend not to binge a series in 1 or 2 sittings, even if I really want to, but more importantly, I love everyone being on the same page, being able to chit-chat about this week's new episode of The Circle or Invincible or whatever. As much as I love shows like Umbrella Academy, I cannot stand the dance we have to do, where it's like, oh, have you seen it yet? No, I only watched the first 3. Oh, let me know when you get to episode 5. Oh, did you see the bit where a character dies and falls out of a car? No? Okay, you call me when you do, and then we all just forget about it, because we're not on the same page, and time moves on. And maybe a couple of weeks later, you'll say, hey, by the way, I just finished Umbrella Academy. And then your friend will say, oh yeah, that was pretty good. But now they've kind of forgotten all of the big beats of Umbrella Academy, so that conversation never happens as well as it could. And a big part of weekly TV conversation is the propagation of fan theories. Viewers use context clues, source material, and sometimes just a hunch to guess what happens next week. And it is a lot of fun. But recently it's gotten a little out of hand. And it seems like we may need to relearn the lessons some of us learned after theorizing about Lost. So let's talk about fan theories. First off, this video is going to use Wandavision fan theories as examples, and I will therefore spoil the entire show. My thought process is either you've seen it by now or you aren't going to. But still, spoiler alert. No Falcon and Winter Soldier spoilers, since that isn't really relevant, and no Loki spoilers, but real quick, let's throw out a Loki fan theory. The bad guy is actually Frog Thor. You heard it here first. Zero info to back this up, besides that I really want the Pet Avengers thing to happen. I actually have a serious Loki fan theory, and I'll save that for Nebula Plus, but, here we are. WandaVision's over. The discourse has come and gone. And as someone who spent a lot of time over the past few months theorizing publicly about WandaVision, I feel like I needed to say something about fan theories in general. In case you missed it, WandaVision was very much a mystery show. It actively encouraged the audience to ask questions. What's the deal with the beekeeper? Who created the Hex? Who is this Pietro guy? And while some were answered a week or so after they were asked, most answers were not revealed until the 9th and final episode. And online, many people, including myself, spent the time in between episodes crafting fan theories about what the answers to those questions might be. And it was fun. I really enjoyed it, and considering the reaction to my videos, a lot of you guys did too. And I've seen 2 extreme reactions in particular to many of those theories not coming true that stand out as bad. The first one is, the thing didn't happen the way the fan theories said it would, and that makes the show bad. And the second, equally dumb one in my opinion, is fan theories are ruining television. And I think there's a lot more nuance to be had, and discussing it can actually help us not fall into a lot of those traps in the future. Especially since Loki is right around the corner, and Marvel television is not going anywhere, so fan theories about how future characters and new shows are going to be introduced, it's just going to be a part of television. So first off, I want to talk about why I make fan theory videos. Most importantly, people like them. They tend to get decent views and a generally positive response from you guys. Second, if I take a swing at a wild fan theory and turn out to be right, then I look like a genius, and that's always fun. And that gets my videos more views. Sharon Carter was a great example. Falcon and the Winter Soldier made everyone go back, watch that video again, tell me how great I was. But third, and the reason that I think they're worth it, I try to make these videos informative. You aren't just watching me spin my wheels for the 10 or so minutes that YouTube seems to require every video as if you want it to be shared. I am using background comic knowledge, teaching you about characters, storylines, so even if you watch the video and none of the theories played out the way I predicted, you come away learning something new. So that's why I make them. But what can we do to better enjoy fan theories? Well, it helps to point out that I don't think all fan theories are created equal. There were several fan theories that all played out in different ways, and I think the reaction to each tells us a lot about how fan theories work and how they can sometimes hurt the experience. So here are 6 WandaVision fan theories. 1. Agnes is Agatha Harkness. This is a good one to start with since it came true. Agnes was indeed the witch Agatha Harkness, and the many fan theories that predicted it were right. A good time was had by all. Fans of the comic saw it from a mile away, and the show didn't completely hide Agnes's identity from us, but it did keep us guessing. We knew the who, but not the how or the why. And there were several little hints. Agnes's and Ralph's anniversary was the best one, and I think it was all handled pretty responsibly. 2. Quicksilver is from the X-Men movies. I liked the Quicksilver reveal, and it makes complete sense. There is no other actor besides Evan Peters that would confuse the audience the same way it confuses the characters. It's Aaron Taylor Johnson, we know that's Quicksilver. If it's someone completely different, we know that guy isn't Quicksilver. But Evan Peters, that guy might be Quicksilver, maybe. And apparently, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who looks completely different now anyway, is going to be playing Kraven in a Spider-Man spin-off movie. So, I don't know, man. Bring back Evan Peters, who can keep track anymore. So I think the Quicksilver casting was an excellent choice. And having that character be Ralph makes sense too. And then naming him Ralph Boner, first of all, hilarious. Second, apparently Boner is a character from Growing Pains who does the same thing that Pietro does here, so it makes sense. Red herrings exist for a reason, to throw us off the story's scent, and we should be cognizant of that when thinking about fan theories. However, maybe don't have the audio description call him the Quicksilver from the X-Men movies, that's just a thought. 3. The aerospace engineer is Reed Richards. Now, this is a case where I kind of understand why the fans were upset. In episode 5, Monica and the team are trying to re-enter the Hex, and Monica mentions an aerospace engineer that she knows who can help. She does not name the engineer, and we don't see them for a couple of episodes. I'm not honestly even sure who she was talking about. I think it was this Skrull. That makes enough sense. But I don't think there's a chance in hell that the writers did not think the hinting wouldn't get fans thinking about the Fantastic Four. They were right around the corner. Aerospace engineer, Reed, Sue, Johnny, Ben, any of them could have been that character. Also, maybe Blue Marvel, another Marvel character who would have made sense in that moment. Like, imagine if in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Falcon said, you know, I know a guy that worked on a special Black Ops squad in Canada. Experiment, not a people person. We should call him. And then next week we meet Maverick. It might not be a bad addition or anything, but I don't think it's unreasonable for fans to think he's talking about Wolverine. I just don't think fans should necessarily get their hopes up in situations like that, but in a weekly show with reveals and theories where even the characters in the show come up with fan theories, I don't know what the people behind the camera were expecting. 4. Doctor Strange is involved somehow. This one is a strange one. I don't think the show really hinted at him in any way, but it does still feel a little odd that Doctor Strange never showed up. Considering this is part of an interconnected universe and one character's entire job description is just police Earth for magic weirdness, you would expect he would show up. Especially since he lives what you'd expect is maybe a 45-minute drive away from where Wanda lives, in traffic. Also, he can teleport. It's why I think a certain Jedi Master making a cameo on The Mandalorian makes sense. During the time period that the show takes place in, Luke was training young Jedi. So it only felt like a matter of time until our heroes crossed paths with Luke. Imagine if The Muppet Show did a cooking segment and we didn't see or even mention the Swedish chef. It would be a little weird is all. And I'm not saying that we won't get an explanation later for where he was. According to Kevin Feige, Strange was originally going to be the one behind the commercials and was going to make an appearance later on, but he was eventually cut because they didn't want a man coming in and saving the day. I understand the sentiment, but I do think there are other ways to involve Strange in the story without having him fix everything. So while I don't think that Strange's absence hurt the show, I do think the fan theories surrounding it made sense, and his absence was a little confusing, especially in a connected universe. 5. Paul Bettany teases a secret cameo. This was brilliant. Paul Bettany said in an interview that he was working with an actor that he always wanted to work with, and their chemistry was electric. And we all went on IMDb and made a list of every MCU actor that Paul has never worked with and picked the most interesting one. Walton Goggins is Sonny Birch. No, not him, literally any other one. But little did we know, Paul meant himself, which is A, very funny, and B, also makes a lot of sense. The idea of another Vision made up of the original Vision's corpse is a really interesting way to bring the mind-wiped white Vision from the Vision Quest comic storyline into the MCU. And the Vision on Vision scene was terrific. They had electric chemistry, just like Paul said. So even though the fan theories were all wrong, the end result was so satisfying that I don't think anyone really minded. 6. Mephisto is someone. This is the big one. Since the beginning of Wandavision, it really seemed like Mephisto, the Marvel Comics devil, had his hooks in Wanda. Maybe he wasn't controlling her, but this kind of bargain, you get your dream life and I get your power, is exactly what he's known for. He had to be there. And you know what they say, if all you have is a hammer, everything else is a nail. Mephisto became the default answer to, hey, who's that guy? Agnes, Dottie, Hayward, Ralph, the mailman, all Mephisto. It even became a meme that continued through the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show. Mephisto was probably the power broker. And the thing about Mephisto is, I think fans really wanted Mephisto to be involved because it did seem like there were going to be some threads that were going to be difficult to tie up in episodes 8 and 9. If Mephisto is involved, maybe this show goes in a completely different direction in the end, and the characters aren't just going to be flying around shooting lasers at each other. There's going to be some sort of cool Faustian bargain or something like that. And while I don't think the finale of WandaVision was a complete mess or anything like that, I do think you could see the cracks starting to form in episode 7. Hey, this Hayward character, he feels kind of flat. So either he's got something really interesting going on and he's Mephisto and there's this whole plan behind this character, or he's this pretty boring villain that isn't really going to pan out. And that's what Hayward ended up being, and it was kind of a disappointment. I think the rule of fan theories is your answer to a question does not have to be what the fans say, but it needs to be more interesting than what the fans say. If Hayward shows up, starts acting evil, and the fans say, that's probably Mephisto, and the truth of the matter is, that's actually just an underwritten villain, it's going to be a little disappointing. I'm not saying it has to be Mephisto, but it needs to be narratively satisfying. So what can we fans do in the future? Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Low expectations mean you are not going to be disappointed. Okay, that sounds dark. Be hopeful. Theorize, learn about the characters, read comics, watch videos, like videos, share videos, subscribe. Just don't let the fan theories get your hopes up about a certain aerospace engineer making an appearance. After all, Marvel clearly has a plan for this stuff. This is not the dark universe. I believe we owe the team at Marvel the benefit of the doubt. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe there is something to that Frog Thor theory. And let me tell you, if you want to edit that video together yourself, you're welcome to do it. And if you don't know how to edit videos and you want to learn, I would highly recommend looking at Jordy Vanderput's classes on editing in Premiere Pro and After Effects, the programs I use, on this video's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community that offers membership with meaning. With so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives, Skillshare empowers you to accomplish real growth. There are classes in productivity, design, writing, video editing, and so much more. I always recommend fellow YouTuber Thomas Frank's class called Productivity Masterclass, How to Build Habits That Last, if you want to become more organized and productive. And if you want to learn Premiere and After Effects editing, like if you want to make the video that I just very briefly described, or make your own video, I would highly recommend Jordy's classes. You can learn and grow with short classes that fit your busy routine. Skillshare is also incredibly affordable. An annual subscription, that's a whole year, is less than $10 a month. And if you'd like to join the millions of people already learning on Skillshare today, the first 1,000 people to click the link in this description will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. Learn new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in creativity with Skillshare's online classes. What you find might just surprise and inspire you. As always, I want to give a humongous thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel on Patreon. You guys are amazing. If you want to see your name up here, get access to videos early, other cool stuff, join the book club. We're doing Midnighter, some sort of Midnighter book this month. Throw in literally any amount of money at patreon.com/NandoVMovies. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Also, listen to the podcast, Mostly Nitpicking. Every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. We talk about movies and TV shows sometimes, not that often, but sometimes it'll come up if it's important. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We're at NitpickingPod on Twitter. Last thing, follow me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. I'm NandoVMovies on all of those platforms. That's all I've got. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.